Hello, welcome to the Tuesday Night Music Show. We have a nice variety of folks here tonight. And we even have Matt. Matt's with us. John's here. Brian's here.
Okay.
Eric's here. Damon's here. I'm here. What's up?
What up?
I made a post the other day about country music. I have a, and then the reason I brought it up was because Beyonce won the country album thing, and a lot of the country folks didn't like that for whatever reason. They didn't like that.
Nobody liked it.
Well, I guess that's kind of what I was going to talk about, in a way, but in a nice way, because I've mentioned this before, and I think the way I went about saying it was a little abrasive, perhaps, and polarizing. But I'm going to try to say this in a nicer way. And I'm going to try to also say it in general and talk about other genres of music, like EDM, perhaps, or hip hop, all kind of fall in the same category. But I was saying in my post, everything that I've needed to know about country music in about the last 40 years is that if it doesn't cross over to the pop charts and no one requests it, who's paying you, ignore it. If it does cross over to the pop charts, make sure it's a good song before you play it. There's not much else you need to really know about this. If it's a great song, you might not even identify it as a country song anymore. Go ahead and play it at your own risk like you would anything else on the pop charts. But I think that goes for EDM, that goes for R&B, that goes for hip hop, that goes for adult contemporary, pretty much anything. Am I right or wrong?
What is it like?
Absolutely correct.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the art, so
100%.
the artist doesn't necessarily have to reflect the majority of the culture of the genre. Do you remember when George Michael won R&B Artist of the Year? And
Yeah, and everybody lost their minds about that. Yeah.
So, and then country stations where I live were actually opted to take Lil Nas X off the radio because it was getting requested too much because that ain't our country. It's like, well, it is kind of country. And then Miley's dad there, Billy Ray Cyrus, stepped up on the remix with him and got it put right back on country. Now, does that satisfy you people? So, but again, it's trying to make everybody happy. Was Beyonce's a great country album better than a Shania Twain? It was all right. I got some legs out of Texas Hold'em. I played that quite a bit.
Mhm.
Given what was out there, we're in kind of this lull of country where all the artists are new. They're not really established. We don't have the Johnny Cashes and the Willie Nelsons. We've got Hardy, and we've got Jelly Roll, and we've got Lainey Wilson, right?
But some of that stuff's crossing over. Some of it's crossing over, though.
So we don't really have, country isn't identifiable, like pigeonholed like it used to be. It's not,
Right.
Chad Atkins and Merle Haggard. It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever been to a Jelly Roll concert, 20 minutes of his concert is hip hop.
Mhm.
It is. He explains it. I mean, I've seen the guy perform, and it's like 20 minutes is hip hop. So it's like, are you still country? Are you? I mean, where do you fall at right now?
It's funny you say that because I was just thinking about how modern country and hip hop they have a lot in common.
Mhm.
Hear me out. They're both storytelling types of music. They're usually telling a story. If it's hip hop, it's what's going on in the hood. If it's country, it's what's going on the farm. It's a story,
For
okay?
the most part, yes.
Yes.
The fans of both hip hop and country wear costumes that identify them as fans of hip hop and country. Hip hop dudes sometimes wear a lot of team gear and a lot of stuff that would make you, look important in the hood, where country fans dress like they're going to go rustle some cattle. No matter where they live, they wear costumes.
The bigger the belt buckle, the nearer to God.
Yeah. And you know what I think they both are really in essence, and it sounds weird, maybe not in style, but in theory, it's folk music. It's very folky. Not in instrumentation and arrangement, but in style. It's folky. It's identifying with a certain demographic of people.
Yeah.
So they have a lot in common. So is it really weird that there's hip hop country blends now because they're both kind of doing the same thing essentially.
Well, we both wear boots. Some are Timberland, some are
Some are
cowboy.
Timberlands, some are cowboy. Yep. Hats. Some are baseball hats. Some are cowboy hats. Yes.
But it does go the other way.
Gold
When
chains, belt
Bon-
buckles. Yeah.
Yeah.
When Bon Bon Jovi went with Jennifer Nettles with "Who Says You Can't Go Home," that was the countryside. He crossed over to country, so it goes either way. I think with some of this. You guys
Well, a lot
agree?
of the country stuff is kind of rock stuff.
Mhm.
And-
You're correct. You're correct.
Yeah,
And if it's
twanged out rock. Yeah.
and I would argue that if it's really good, if it's a really good song, that most of the time people aren't thinking of it as a country song because it's so good. It's like too good to be country. Sweet Home Alabama. What's not country about that song? That song is so country. Don't you think?
But it's on classic rock radio.
But it's classic rock.
Yeah.
It's
a
rock,
pass.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that I mentioned, I've mentioned it before, and people look at me like I have four heads when I say this. The country song that I think everybody sleeps on, and nobody even knows is a country song. They just identify it as a pop song, or even an R&B song, and there's nothing R&B about it. Is "Sail On" by the Commodores. Everything about that song is country, except the very end. The style they're
you
singing
brought this up before.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
What do
Okay.
you think, Damon? Think about that song.
I'm singing it in my head right now.
Hello, down the line, on the
About
road.
half a mile or so.
Oh, butter.
Lionel Richie was tight with Kenny Rogers back then. Remember Lady? That was like the crossover.
Well,
So
that's
maybe-
another
I don't know if he
example.
was he tight with him back then though?
Yeah,
I thought
he
it was
wrote-
Lady.
He wrote it for
Didn't
him.
he wrote-
Lady.
Yeah, I wrote "Lady" for him
Right.
Stuck on
Right.
You is a country song.
all day long.
all day long.
But so was "Sail On" though.
Yeah.
I mean, I think "Stuck on You" was a little more on the nose country. But if you think about "Sail On," there's nothing about that song that's not country. But it's so good, no one thinks of it as a country song. Damon,
No,
I want your thoughts on that.
No, I mean, I'm singing that song in my head, and I can actually hear it now. I mean,
Yeah,
I never thought about it before, but as I sing the song in my head, yeah.
but it's so good you never think of it as a country song, and that's why I've said before, if it's really good, it can't just be country anymore. If it's really good, it's either top 40 or you don't even know it's country if it's really good.
Right.
There are people out there who like country music, and they're very forgiving of whether or not it's a good song or not. Just so it's got the fiddle and the twang and all that, fine, whatever. They dig it. But if it's a really good song with great melody and harmony and really well structured and produced, you forget it's country. You don't even know it's country because it's so
Well,
good.
Well, there's a new group of country artists coming up. I hate this. A new group of black country artists is going to be hitting the charts real soon.
Yeah.
I've been downloading this stuff like the last 6 months to a year now, and it's honestly, if you didn't really recognize it, you'd be like, "Okay, this is hip hop." But
Well, what
Yeah,
about
sing it
Shabuzi? Is not a white dude, is he?
No.
Huh.
actually, I never no.
Oh,
Yeah, but there's a bunch of group. Like I said, I don't have the list in front of me, but yeah, last 6-8 months, there's a bunch of good country music coming off from black artists right now. So
I've heard a couple other Shabuzi songs, and they're not country songs.
So he just did a song in country style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Lil Nas X. Like
Right.
he does. They're not country. The rest of his stuff.
I've said to people, the music hasn't really changed that much in a long time, 25 years or whatever. It's hard to differentiate, very, very small differences. It's not like 25 years from, I don't know, 1950 to 1975. You knew something changed. But in the last 25 years, it's like, okay, really? Is it that different? And a lot of people have stated, well, country and hip hop have come together. And like, this is not the first time this has happened. And both of these styles existed, and they're more similar than you think anyway.
Nelly had a song with Tim McGraw years ago.
Yep.
Tim McGraw, Florida Georgia Line, he's been all over the country chart.
I was just gonna say Florida Georgia Line. Yeah.
Mhm.
They're good enough to cross over into pop So that's why you
Yeah.
get people like BB Rexa singing with them on Meant to Be, and like they're good enough to cross over. Remember when Life is a Highway hit? That was what, Rascal Flatts? That was a
Yeah.
band that excelled in country and made it and the crossover to get on pop radio.
Well, what's not rap about Johnny Cash doing "I've Been Everywhere"? I've been everywhere, man. I've been
Right.
everywhere.
He told a good story. He's just name dropping at that point. Yeah.
He's rapping. He's rhyming and rapping right there. This is not new. I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong that they can do this, but it's been done before. This is we've heard this, and it's not this big epiphany of, oh my God, this is so different. No, it's a style we've all heard before.
Well, let's talk about the biggest country rap song ever. Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yes,
You know what?
That's a rap. That's rapping.
the country rap song. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest, most popular one, biggest one.
He's getting paid by the word. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not a big Charlie Daniels guy, but I know that was on the Full Moon album. Wasn't it on the Full Moon album?
I don't know. I just had the single.
No
of it.
idea.
I think it was on the Full Moon album.
Don't ask me.
There was another track out there called "In America,"
Okay, that's another one. Yeah.
and it was kind of the same style as "Devil Went Down to Georgia," where it was more spoken word than it was singing.
Okay.
You know, maybe the chorus they sang, but the rest of it, yeah, you're right.
They did another one that was kind of a rap. What was that? Something about a swamp.
Oh, the Woolly Swamp.
Willie Swamp.
Yeah.
It was on the Full Moon album
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
That was like a rap also.
Mhm.
You know, if you think about it. And
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So basically, Charlie Daniels
So-
was ahead of his time.
yeah.
Charlie,
Johnny Cash did
Daniels,
it first.
The birth of hip hop.
I wouldn't
Exactly.
say
76.
that. Yeah. But, yeah. Because he ain't no shabuzi.
Mm.
God. I think Shabuzi's a one and done.
Ah,
Maybe
you know.
he'll get lucky.
You know what? You know what? He's been on the charts how long right now?
Yeah.
With that bar song. And you got to give credit when it's due. I mean, it was great. But he did bring hip hop lyrics into like a country, and he did it purposely, I think, you know. And look where it's got him. So I commend him on that. I mean, whatever. Am I a big fan of the song? No. I much prefer the original,
Yeah.
you know. But
Oh, the original.
Anyway.
I've been playing a lot.
Oh yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. K1 or Jake1.
Jake1.
Yeah, yeah, that made me play it more, the original, when he come out, when Tipsy come out with this. I'm like, God, I forgot about that, you know? And now you start playing the original more, and people today are getting mad at you like, no, that's not the one I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, sorry, this is where it came from, you know? But
Sure.
yeah.
It's just funny to me when, like you mentioned, John, when George Michael had R&B album of the year, Gladys Knight lost her mind and she got all mad about it. And it's kind of the same thing with Beyonce winning country album of the year. With anybody who's upset about it, it's like, isn't music supposed to be just music? Why does it have to be a racial thing? Why does it have to be like this deep rooted cultural thing? Why can't great music just come from wherever it comes from? You can
Right.
argue
Like-
whether you like it or not.
Like being mad at the Beastie Boys or Eminem being in the rap category. It's like, but they do it well and they excel at the craft. And
Well, nobody got mad about that I can think of. I mean,
No.
I think, yeah.
I mean, they're
That was
purists
cool,
and stuff.
you know?
That was cool. It's like, okay, so other people can do this. Again, when you first are introduced to an artist for the first time, you just assume they're a one-trick pony. You're like, that's all they got. When we first heard Beyonce in Destiny's Child, like, this is an R&B girls group. They're trying to emulate the Supremes. This is what we're going to get. Then the 90s kind of crept
or
in,
whatever, yeah.
which wasn't that much older.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, that's their spot. Then the stuff got a little more hip-hoppy. Then they started bringing in like Jay-Z onto albums. And when she
Sure.
went solo, it's like, oh, she's going to go to that diva level and put these massive concerts on with these epic dance routines. It's like, hey, so she's not just R&B, she's also like a pop sensation. She got a little bit of that Tina Turner, Shaka Khan thing going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
That's a good-
they evolve a little further, and now we get to. I don't know why she decided to put out a country record. She just said, this is something I haven't done. The hell with it. I'm putting it out. Yeah, I
don't know. Dolly Parton did a rock record. I mean, why the hell not? You're a billionaire.
Right.
You've done it all. Do something different. Why not?
Well, if
You
you
know.
think about it, Beyonce was trying different styles because her last album before this one was basically an EDM album.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So she was like, okay, I've done the R&B thing. I'm gonna try the EDM house thing, and
Yeah.
it actually went over pretty good. She has some, got some legs out of it.
I kind of
Yeah,
forgot
now she's
about that one.
yeah,
She
and
takes
then now she's
chances.
doing
Yeah,
and now
her
she's doing
background
the country thing.
tonight I played because I forgot it was a good song. I played "Lose My Breath," and she's basically singing over to like a snare drum line.
Yeah.
Real busy drum line, but it sounds like something you would see at halftime on a football field. It's just built into the song, and it captures that energy. So it's like maybe she's not afraid to try new things. So she didn't want to just say I'll put one country song on a record. She's like I'm going to really just stay in the lane and try to do a whole record of this, and she got recognized for it. I don't think people
Why
should be
not?
up in arms. Be like, Taylor Swift was a country artist when she started, crossed over into pop, kind of got into some medium dancey stuff too, and is she headed to make a hip hop record next year? I don't know. She's on the radio plenty enough, and she's
Didn't a lot of country people
tours.
get upset about her crossover? They didn't like that too much. If I remember right, at the time it was very controversial in the country community.
Yeah, she was hitting like the tail end of like 90s, pre all the,
Well, I think it was closer to like the late 2000s with like Shake It Off and all that stuff, wasn't it?
that came. Well, she had 22 was the first single I remember, and then Teardrops and My Guitar. That's like her old, like she was like a 14-year-old with a Martin guitar playing acoustic and stuff. And her country stuff was country.
Right.
Sounded like it just came out of the woods,
Right.
with moonshine. And
That's a tough crossover, though. I mean, for that's a tough crossover.
mhm.
Not many have pulled that off. Who has pulled that off? Olivia Newton-John pulled it off because she was country, and then she kind of went.
She wore a lot of different hats too. She flipped a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, now we're going back to the 70s,
She was a country
Which I
artist.
do.
Yeah.
No, but I think you could find more crossovers in the 70s than you can today, maybe,
Well, yeah, but again, I think when you think of some of the greatest country crossover artists or songs, again, I'll repeat myself on this, but it's important. They're so good. You don't think of them as country songs. John Denver stuff falls in that category.
Yes.
I don't necessarily think of John Denver as a country artist.
No.
I think of John Denver like I think of Barry Manilow. Or somebody like that, he's just a pop artist.
John Denver's more like a Peter, Paul, and Mary's coming out of that folklore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Or America or something, I guess,
Yeah.
It's just like,
Every Eagles song is a country song, but nobody ever called it country.
you're right. You're absolutely right, Brian. Or the early stuff.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
Nobody identifies it as country.
Yeah.
Or Jackson Brown, even with like Running on Empty and stuff like that.
Hey, is this a country record? I don't know. There's a song called Desperado on it. They must be country, right? It's
Right, right. I remember being a little boy because my dad was a big country fan, and he always had country radio on in the car. I remember hearing things like England Dan and John Forcoli and Eagles and things like that on country radio when I was a little boy. So it did get airplay on a country station, but it was on the pop station. And, I mean,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
no, you're good.
No, I was gonna say at one point in time, like Shania Twain, one of her biggest songs was a crossover hit, and I was playing it at a dance club, and a lot of people didn't even know she was a country artist.
I know because it's so good. Yeah,
It was so good, and it was like, and you had to make sure you played the right version, because if you played the wrong version,
You played the country version or the pop version,
yeah. There's several like that.
yeah,
She's even got some hardcore EDM versions of songs that's like,
yeah.
oops,
But it was like
didn't mean to
man,
play
you
that.
made yeah, but you played the right version, and man, you made you feel like a woman, and it worked in the club. And like I said, a lot of people at that time didn't even know she was a country artist.
Matt's saying that Garth Brooks tried to cross over with Chris Gaines. I liked that project. I thought that was good. I liked the music that he was doing as Chris Gaines.
It was brilliant.
I would argue that he'd already crossed over because Friends in Low Places was a Hot 100 song.
Correct.
That was a top one.
That was on the Hot 100. So it's not like he hadn't crossed over before he did the Chris Gaines project.
Yeah.
Does country radio play Beyonce? I don't think they do. I don't know.
Yes and no. All depends on what part of the country you're in.
Yeah.
You have some country stations in the middle of the state that's pretty much they will play it. They'll take a chance. But in
I occasionally listen to country, and I never heard it on there. So
No,
Well, you have
I've tried that Beyonce song. I'll be honest. I think we all did, and I think how they calculated this vote was the amount of downloads. Maybe I don't know how they did it, but
I don't know.
you know. But how do they determine whether your country downloading this or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a weird.
I don't understand anything anymore.
I'm not going to speculate because
It
I
was
don't
record
know.
sales and
Yeah, right,
and
right,
airplay and all
yeah.
kinds of stuff. I don't get it now with the streaming. I don't understand it or how they
But
determine that.
but to answer Brian K's question is there's here in Detroit we have two older country radio stations on
Yeah.
FM, and then we have a younger country radio station. The younger country radio station plays like a lot of the newer country
Like
plays Beyonce.
like
Okay.
the stations from like American Idol contestants, those country singers that are nobodies. They're just famous for the shows, if you want to call it that. Like people that never won American Idol or The Voice, but they came in like 10th place. They
Yeah.
release a country album and they're never
Sure.
really a big hit.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
I remember, and I'll never, ever, ever forget this. And I've mentioned it before, so I am aware that I'm repeating myself. But Cupid Shuffle.
Mhm.
I remember having a conversation with him up in the green room at one of the Mobile Beat shows. And he was talking about, talking about hits. I said, well, you've done really well R&B. He's laughed. He said, nobody wants an R&B hit. No artist wants an R&B hit. Every artist wants a top 40 hit.
Hmm.
Because that's where the money is. There's no money in having an R&B hit. The money is in top 40 hits. So no matter what anybody tells you, everybody wants a top 40 hit because that's where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
And he would know, right? And I think it's probably the same thing, especially if you're not doing a lot of, I think country artists can do really well touring and performing that way.
They do.
But as far as to make money off of your publishing or whatever, yeah, top 40 is going to get you more plays and more dough, more recognition and more sales. So,
Right. Or you launch a grenade into the country music charts like Darius Rucker did. You come off an alternative
Yeah.
band and you release Wagon Wheel and like, ooh, look at me go.
right. And I like that song. It's a good song.
But
I think
look
it's a good
what
song.
happened to him after that. Nothing.
Nothing.
Really. Right.
Yeah, but he was Hootie.
He's back to singing with Hootie
Well,
again.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
He's
But he
always gonna be
tried that avenue. Yeah.
I mean, he's actually got a couple of good solo singles.
Well, the Hootie songs are country songs also.
You're right. You're right. Very folky country
That's that
song.
folky
That's another
alternative.
good
That's another
point.
zone.
That's another good point, Brian.
And did you ever
Yes.
think of Hootie and the Blowfish's country?
No.
Ever, ever, ever?
Nope, not when
No.
rock radio was playing him.
No.
They didn't question it.
I hate to admit, I didn't believe he was country because of the color of his skin.
What
now,
about-
now it doesn't matter.
Right. Well, what about, I'm just thinking
You
back
think
to
of-
the song No Rain by Blind Melon. That's a pretty,
Folky.
that's got country progressions to it, you know?
I think that's on the fence. That one's on the fence, Brian.
Well, the vocals are a little
Yeah.
different, and God forbid
Right.
we have anything different going on with any kind of thing we put on the radio, but it's kind of got that vibe to it. I don't know.
If you had it categorized, I don't know where I'd put that, honestly, now that you just brought that up. But,
Well, they had that whole new
Yeah.
rock, post grunge thing going on in the 90s that I didn't understand. But a lot of that stuff was very, very folky country based. I felt it was.
Yeah.
I felt it was.
You know, I
But
think
I mean,
unless you started in a different place and you have country pedigree, you can always dip back into country. But to enter it cold is harder. Like when Miley first came out, she was a Disney star. She had her Hannah Montana thing, right? She's already a pop sensation. All the little 12-year-olds were buying her concert tickets. And her progression then came through pop. And, occasionally, I'm sure she got the nod from Dolly up above, like, can you at least put out something country so we can get you on a country radio station? Because,
All right.
this paycheck's over here, too, if you don't mind. And I'm sure with Billy Ray being dad, it was, and so then we got a country record for her. And then she'd go back to being pop or dance or, that type of stuff. So I guess it helps if you have an in. It's just hard to just jump blindly into the pool and say, let's see what happens. And
It's an acceptance thing with the audience. And I think you could say the same thing about hip hop. If somebody was doing rock or let's just say, I don't know, whatever, and then they try to do hip hop, I think it might be well, why is this person doing? They're not hip hop. It's a cred thing. It's almost like a street credibility thing or a farm credibility thing if we're talking about country.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do you hear you're not real country? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
You're not a cattle rancher?
Nowadays,
what does that mean?
You don't even own
Not
a cattle
full of
brand.
cattle ranchers. It's funny.
Yeah.
But I think artists get bored doing the same thing over and over. Like even Jonathan Davis, who sang for Korn, tried his hand at EDM, and he was chasing Skrillex around and putting out songs. It's like, just what are you doing, man? Stay in your lane. It's just
Sure.
you want to explore. You want to learn production of new sounds and new things, and it's not uncommon. Once you've done it all, you've pushed it as far as you can in one zone. You have to start looking at either I'm doing production or I'm gonna write for other artists or just try something completely that's out of the ordinary and see if it goes anywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm letting you guys know right now. I'm about to drop a country album in 2026.
Ooh.
I can tell you already, it's going to be album of the year. I can tell you already.
Yeah.
It's Damon Belt Buckle right here. And you heard it here first. Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
David Belt Buckle and the Boot Scooters. All right, but it's still all wearing Timberlands. Yeah, and not those snakeskin ones.
My first song is I Need My Butter Pecan Ice Cream.
That's right. The butter pecan.
See,
Just go butter
already,
pecan. Yeah, there you go.
already it's a crossover,
That's
David.
it.
So
Butter
you failed.
pecan.
Yeah.
Butter pecan on the Oregon Trail. Yep.
Just like grandma used to scoop.
Until she got run over by the reindeer.
Until she got run over by the reindeer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
was
got
also-
a little guitar somewhere,
Little slide guitar, some fiddle.
Yep. So I got a fiddle too. Hey, it's on.
Yeah.
Can I add a question, Brian, if you don't mind?
Of course.
And maybe go around the room.
Don't hate me. Okay, go ahead.
Don't judge me. Hey, don't knock me off this thing. hold on.
Hang on, he's muted again.
All right.
Yeah, see?
What do you got?
Yeah. No, seriously, if we go around the room, I'll go first. Who do you think was the most country artist that went crossover? I'm going to go first. I'll say Kenny Rogers. I think a lot of his stuff was crossover.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anybody else? Yeah.
I don't think of Kenny as a country artist. I think of him as a top 40
Right.
artist.
But really, people thought of him as country, right?
Kenny was a rock singer
He was.
back in the 70s.
The condition, my conditions
right,
in, or
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the mullet and everything. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But
rocking back in the
even
head.
then, but even then, Brian K, I kind of thought he was country.
Yeah, it was a
still, even
country
though
like
he-
song. Yeah.
Yeah. But anybody else? I'm just curious.
Country and
Like, who do you-
crossover? I mentioned
Like-
John before. I think that's a really good example
Yeah.
of that.
And you also brought up Lionel Richie, which is a great point. Anybody? I'm just
And
curious.
He went the other way.
And Shania, you said.
And Naya's a good
I mean,
one.
Dolly Parton had the pop crossover. She did it very well for a lot
Here
of
you
years.
come again
Yes.
in 9 to 5. Yeah.
Yeah, knew how to hit the
absolutely.
pop pocket with a couple, and then
Absolutely.
didn't see her again until her heavy metal record last year. Like,
Well, again, great songs transcend
That's just,
country.
nobody bought it.
Damon, you got anything? I'm just curious.
Oh, I
Like,
mean, we already said like Shania, then Garth Brooks. He crossed over with some songs, and
yeah.
I mean, for a minute you couldn't shake a dead stick without hearing some Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Well, Goth was everywhere at one point.
That's what I'm saying.
he came in on the
Right,
tail
yeah.
end of like the
Yeah.
classic country, like Oak Ridge Boys got on the radio with Elvira. They got lucky to have
Yes.
a pop single.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot about that.
Alabama, with
Alabama's
crossover
a
mountain
good
music.
one. Yeah.
Everybody liked
Alabama's
their sound.
another.
It's another band, and even though they're named after a place that should be known for country music, they got on pop radio and no one looked twice. It's like, oh, they're a country band? We didn't
It
know.
was so good. But you had, I mean, back in the day, you had guys like Don Williams
Mhm.
and Eddie Rabbit.
Oh, there's another one. I love
Yeah.
a rainy night, driving my life away.
So the
Yeah,
country,
Don't Move the
100%.
Heart
Yeah,
Tonight.
yeah.
You know, all those tracks were good pop songs, but they got country radio play too.
Matthew Shunn brought up one, Alabama Deep River Woman, which I believe was on pop and country back, I think, late 80s. Is that when that came out? I forget.
Yeah, I think so.
And what was their other one that I liked? Love in the First Degree. That got both plays, right? You
Oh
know?
yeah,
So-
yeah,
Some artists were so
Yep.
good at covering all their bases,
Right.
like Glenn Campbell, for example.
yeah.
He
Oh
would-
yeah.
Pop radio loved him. He was on a lot of KTEL records, and you'd hear him on every country station because he had at least
Rhinestone
one or
Cowboy
two.
got played on country
Got
radio.
some twangers.
That's it. That's
you
it.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the pocket, you know.
This is just things that we as DJs probably never really, I don't know.
But we know they exist, but I don't think we really stitch them together to make sense out of it. Like, can we make this a genre?
I don't think we ever put them on, okay, the country or pop or, you know, and it's great that we're talking about this. I really do. And again, no matter what category you put them in, they're still as great as they are, you know, no matter what, you know?
Yeah. Really, I mean, it's like anything else. Every great, well, for us anyway, I feel like greatness floats to the top. It doesn't matter what the genre is. It could be top 40. Greatness floats to the top for what we're doing. I'm not playing every song on the top 40 right now. I'm not going to.
Neither am I.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, this is not 1985 anymore. You know, we can't do that. Yeah, it's different.
When in doubt, go back to the 85 chart. You could play any one of those songs and it's a banger.
It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Right.
Don't even need, you can just pick up your eyes closed. Yep.
Yeah.
Good one.
Like, okay. Yeah.
Magic.
Oh, okay. Yep. That's the one. Yeah. There was a time, but that time has passed. Now you have to pick and choose because some stuff just is not going to, it might be great for just listening, but maybe it's down tempo or maybe it's just, I like to play uplifting music at my events. I like to play stuff.
Oh yeah, all day long.
I don't like to play anything down tempo. You know, this is not a funeral, and I'm don't get people sad. I'm going to people up, let's get them up. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff out there that is so damn good that you don't think of it as country, but know that it's country. So if you have that audience in front of you, you can play it because they'll dig it. I don't think anybody in the right mind is going to say, "Oh, yeah, that was country, but it's so good, I don't like it anymore." Well, what?
He sold out. Yeah. He sold out every arena on tour this whole season to a country audience. That's what he sold out.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, hip hop fans aren't getting mad at In the Club by 50 Cent. They're not getting mad at Biggie's Hypnotize or California Love or any of that. They're not getting mad at that stuff that just, you know, did amazing business. I don't think they are.
No,
They're classics, you know?
Classics.
Yeah. Interesting.
Matthew Shun is responding in text messages here that you guys can't see, but there's one thing I don't know. Maybe you guys in the room understand this one, but I don't. L King's X's and O's. How did that cross over? I don't remember that crossing over.
Yep. I don't think they played it on country radio though. I don't know.
Yeah. And I'm not knocking Matt.
It
Maybe he knows
sounds
something we
country.
don't,
It's got
but,
kind of
yeah.
a gallop to it, so yeah. And then she just did another one with Miranda Lambert, which is Drunk and Don't Want to Go Home or whatever. That's is getting played on country radio. So she found a way in over there. She's accepted as one of their own now.
Interesting. Yeah. I just, that's the only one I questioned by him, but I'm like, maybe you guys know something I don't, which we all do. We all know something, you know, that either one of us know. But anyway, like Brian, he knows, Brian knows everything. This fucking, Brian. No, Brian, you are the encyclopedia of music. I'll say that right now.
I'm not familiar with all this stuff. I'm not. You know,
I'm not saying the newest stuff. But,
no,
yeah.
I cherry pick. If it's great, I know it. If it's not great, I don't have time for it because I want to focus on the great stuff. It's like every time anybody says, "Hey, let's listen to country," I'm thinking to myself, I could be listening to Shalimar's Dead Giveaway right now. Why am I listening to this? Because I like that song and I don't like this song. So yeah, it doesn't matter what the genre is. It could be EDM, it could be top 40, it could be anything. I only like I like the best of the best. I'm not a fan of any particular genre. I just like great music. So if anybody asks me what I like, it's usually top 40 stuff or it's usually Hot 100 stuff, just because that seems to usually be the best stuff.
All right, Brian, you brought up EDM in the beginning of this.
Mm.
Who do you know EDM kind of went to the country, like crossover? Do you know anybody or like vice versa? You know? I'm curious.
Well, they have remixes that are country, but no.
Okay.
No. And I'm not a fan of that. I like select songs. I'm not an EDM fan, but I like some EDM songs that are really good, just like any other genre.
Okay.
So I'm not that guy who's going to go to the EDM club and just eat it all up. I'm going to like certain songs that are really good that are EDM, and I'm going to dismiss the rest, like I would any other genre. I'm just a cherry picker.
Well, you like what you like, and the rest of
Yeah.
favorable, but you wouldn't go out of your way to play it. That's all. It's just
Well, how about Dirt Road Anthem? Would that be like an EDM country crossover and
I
whatever?
don't even know what that is.
No,
See, I don't know.
You
everything.
don't?
no, Dirt Road Anthem will not be an EDM crossover.
Well, all right. First, Damon, who sang? Was it Jason Aldean?
Jason
Yeah.
Aldean.
But he was with someone else, correct? When he did that, or no? Am I?
No, he was by
No.
himself.
That's just him solo.
Yeah. Now, like I
Yeah,
said,
okay.
like Brian said, you can find remixes that people remix
That are
and
EDM
make it-
remixes. Yeah.
That
Okay.
don't mean
all
it's
right.
good.
Okay, if you really want to make the connection from country to EDM,
Yes.
you want to do that, I think you first have to go way back and figure out what Cher song was country. And then
Cher?
you had to believe. And there you have your country EDM crossover. If you can figure out a Cher song that was country or folky
Wow.
or whatever.
Wow.
And then you
Wow.
go to
Yeah,
Cher
God.
Believe, then you have your crossover.
You see, you're making me think now. This ain't worth it.
Oh no.
Okay, while you're thinking, I'm going to wrap this show because I think it was working it now before it gets weirder. So
Sponsors.
It's
Yeah.
not weird.
Thank
I
you,
love
thank
you,
you.
Brian.
DJ Event Planner is one of our sponsors tonight. So thank you, DJ Event Planner. Take a look at the description of this video on YouTube for links to their website and our other sponsors.